I'm a casino commissioner in Ohio. And I'm interested in this issue. I got put on because I was a casino opponent. And so first, with what you said about data, you should have unlimited access to data. Any casino commission in any state can ask any casino to give any data it wants. So Massachusetts, you in Mass? No.
They just
Yes.
started.
Haven't opened, but they just.
Massachusetts just passed a law, and we're going to pass a very similar law on loyalty club data. But the information on slot machines and on the mathematics of the slot machines and on volatility. So what you said, some people like a lot of little awards.
Right.
But what people really like is an impossible chance to win $100 million.
Right.
Right? That's what people love.
Right.
So if you just had a full room full of that, and there's lots of data available, and I will tell you that if anybody came to me in Ohio and said, this is the data we want, I'd say, we'll make it a rule. And what's troubling to me is nobody comes to me. I'm very outspoken. I've tried to read all the data. There's a lot of psychological literature. It took me months to read all the studies on gambling and suicide and all the problems. But there's very little practical. So,
but you can't get the mathematics out of that they're using with those slot machines. Those are trade secrets. They don't give that. They'll give you how much people are using a machine, but they won't give you the scheduled reinforcement they're using.
They'll give you a percentage payout of the machine, but they don't give you.
I will tell you that if I asked, well, I'll tell you, in Ohio, I've asked our group to study whether we have to publish, and this goes to your psychology, return and volatility. And they say, well, it's trade secrets. And I say, well, no, it's not. I get to say. A trade secret means you can legally protect it. I make the laws. So I've said every slot machine should have a volatility chart, return chart. And they could do that. Now, what they say, and I think it's right, is, well, what good's that going to do? You know, when little Mrs. Tucker comes in from Poughkeepsie, she sees, oh, this volatility is, this, you know, when she sees this graph and she sees these numbers, it's not going to mean anything to her. Right. But any commission can get that data. You just, people have to ask. And what's troubling to me is that the community isn't looking at how to effectively stop it. So advertising is very powerful, right? With drinking and cigarettes, very sophisticated advertising now, very well studied. With gambling, it's not. The casinos, they're responsible gaming commercials, right? They have this gorgeous woman with a huge bosom and a handsome guy, and they're laughing, and they say, come to our casino, but gamble responsibly.
Right. And they even fund a group called the National Center for Responsible Gaming.
Correct.
So Fahrenkopf puts a whole bunch of money in there, and they give out grants.
They give out grants, and I found that the studies from it to be very interesting, that they seem to find good research, but it's not focused on zeroing in. So, you know, it troubles me that nobody's had, you know, what effect would it have if a commercial in Detroit about 5 years ago, a firefighter came out and put a gun in his head right outside the casino, killed himself. What if you showed that in a commercial over and over again? How would that affect somebody?
Well, think about how it worked. I mean, it will work for a particular type of individual. So, for instance, take a page out of the tobacco process. When you show the black lungs versus the miner's lungs, okay, that's very effective for elementary school kids. It's not very effective for older adolescents. For them, you have to work on things like showing the movie stars how they were really good looking at one point and then through substance abuse became very bedraggled, okay? Then you start to get at something that actually they're interested in, how they're looking and how they're relating to others. It's a different type of hook. So each age you have to use something different to actually be a hook into keeping them from doing it.
That's where we're going to put, I mean, we get 3% of all revenues for responsible gaming, and we're going to put a lot of funding on advertising or requiring, for example, I want to require casinos to have programs at the casino and give free lunch, free breakfast, free dinner on how slots work, how to budget, how to use things. And I would like to see in the industry, and it shocks me that it's not there, gambling's done. I mean, the dam has broken. going to be everywhere. And the question is, how do you deal with people? And so I'd encourage you. I think this is a great discussion, and I'm from Toledo, Ohio. I happen to be in New York to come here, but it's very hard to find this not sponsored by the National Committee on Responsible Gambling.
Does the Gaming Commission, are you going to require the casinos to send statements to the gamblers every month to show their losses and winnings?
Well, they have loyalty card data. So if you play a slot machine, they know how much you lost.
Yeah.
If you play...
Tougher on the table games, but
correct.
just on the slots.
But on the table games, they know statistically how much you lost. And they keep trying, that's how they give you rewards. So if you play perfect blackjack for 100 hours and you bet $20 bet for an hour, they know how much you lost.
Yep.
And they will give you rewards on that.
Sure.
And we will require every customer to have access to that. And we're looking at a law that would allow parents, children, or
What
other
about sending
nuclear
a
family
statement to their
members.
house? What about sending a statement to their house every month to show your winnings and losses? Every state resists, the casinos resist it, the gaming commissions roll over because they don't want to, you don't want to show, hey, moron, you lost $5,000.
I mean,
You have to see in black and white. Because you just remember the wins. It's just like guys that go fishing, you know, they tell fishing stories about the big fish they caught.
I would be very willing to do that, because loyalty cards is, if you look at the financial statements, like a lot of these casinos are publicly traded, and you look at their prospectuses and their projections, loyalty club is the money.
Sure.
A lot of casinos lose money now.
It's a GPS system installed in every gambler and
And the loyalty programs are where their money is, and when they sell to Wall Street, they sell their loyalty programs. So that I think that is, and I that's a good question. I don't know. I assume they sent them to people, but
They don't, and they fight it every time. They'll never send them out.
It's a great
Hear a
idea.
little bit of it, and there's other, and there's, you could, if states are really concerned about problem gamblers, other countries do a much better job about this. They have slot machines turn off after a certain period of time if you've been sitting there for a long period of time. They have face recognition devices on machines, so if you see the same person coming in, there's a lot more proactive things that could be done in a lot of casinos to clamp down on problem gamblers and keep it from getting out of control. But it doesn't happen in America, but it does happen in other countries.
yeah. The studies I've seen, I have not persuaded me that's effective. So if the machine steps down,
You go find
I'm not a
another
dummy. I walk to the next machine. So, or if it senses me speeding up, I'll go. So, you know, with addiction, there's no, addicts aren't stupid.
No, but they are limited. They've limited their portfolio of choice. So when you limit, you're also more prone to having all types of disasters happen, as we know when you don't have a broad portfolio of investment on Wall Street.
That's right. Well, I'd just like to thank everyone, and I would bet that this will be the beginning of many more very fruitful and interesting and stimulating discussions about gambling and the role of state involvement and the role of civil society in taking care of each other. Many thanks to Dr. Hans Breider, to Paul Davies, to our host, David Blankenhorn, and to the Institute for American Values.